You ever notice how the stuff that scares us most isn't always the monsters hiding under the bed? It's the things nobody else seems to see? That's exactly how it started with my son Lucas. And looking back, I swear if I'd known then what I know now, I would have stormed right into that school myself on day one and torn the place apart. But, when you're just trying to get by, juggling two jobs, and you think your kid is safe, well, you miss the small things until they hit you like a freight train. The kindergarten classroom at Pinewood Elementary was always bright. Cheerful art on the walls, the buzz of little voices, a mess of crayons on tiny tables, and that smell, like glue and hope. But there was one thing that never fit. My son, Lucas, tucked away in the corner, back pressed to the wall, arms crossed so tight it looked like he might fold himself in half. And that spark in his eyes I loved so much, just gone, replaced by this hard little frown that said, "Don't even try me." His teacher, Miss Alvarez, she's the kind you hope your kid gets. Patient, soft voice, tired around the edges, but you could tell she really cared. Every morning, she tried the same gentle thing. "Lucas, sweetheart, you have to sit at your desk like the other kids. We're about to do the alphabet song." Lucas would just shake his head, messy blonde hair falling over his eyes, whispering, "No, it's bad there." Like it was a secret only he understood. This went on for weeks. Miss Alvarez, bless her heart, tried everything. Stickers, games, being patient, but he wouldn't budge. She told me on the phone, her voice almost apologetic. She was worried, asked if something had changed at home. "Is he like this with you?" she wanted to know, and I told her the truth. At home, Lucas was fine. Sat at the dinner table, laughed at his cartoons, even argued with his little sister over who got the last cookie. But something about school was different, and I'll admit, her suggestion that maybe I was missing something at home stung. I snapped, then immediately felt bad. She was just doing her job, but it's hard not to get defensive when you're doing everything you can. Miss Alvarez said if things didn't change, the school would have to consider calling child services, just to make sure he's okay. That landed like a punch to the gut. The next day, I sat across from the principal, Mr. Donovan, a big man with gray hair, and that "I've seen everything" look, except he was frowning, really concerned. "Kids don't act like this for no reason," he told me. "He's scared of something." Now, I wanted to believe it was just a phase, maybe something silly, but even Miss Alvarez wondered if something, or someone, at school was scaring him. Mr. Donovan promised to look into it, but he warned me, if this keeps up, we might need outside help. The word outside help sounded like a threat, though I knew he meant well. A week passed. No change. Lucas still refused to sit at that desk, no matter what. Then, out of nowhere, Friday morning, as the class filed in, Lucas paused by his seat, his name written in bright blue marker, gripping the chair, hands shaking, and for the first time in weeks, he sat down. You'd think I'd be relieved, but Miss Alvarez noticed. He looked petrified, eyes darting around like he was waiting for the sky to fall. After class, she went straight to Mr. Donovan. "He sat today, but something's wrong. He's scared stiff." That's when they decided to put up a camera, one of those tiny ones, hidden near the ceiling, pointing straight at his desk. "For safety," Mr. Donovan said. "We need to know what's happening when we're not looking." Miss Alvarez hesitated, worried about privacy, I guess, but finally agreed. The next morning, they watched the feed from his office, probably thinking they'd see Lucas being, well, Lucas. But when the classroom door opened, Lucas jolted, heart in his throat. Every single time footsteps passed his desk, his whole body tensed. Then came the twist nobody expected. Halfway through the morning, Mr. Glay, the classroom aide, quiet guy, always seemed helpful, walked behind the kids, straightening papers, adjusting pencils. When he reached Lucas's desk, he leaned down, hand resting on the back of the chair, fingers lingering just a little too long near Lucas's waist. You could see Lucas freeze, every muscle tight, eyes wide with something between fear and panic. If you blinked, you'd miss it, but Miss Alvarez saw it. "Go back," she said, her voice shaking. They watched the footage again. And again. Each time, It was clear as day. Lucas wasn't imagining things, and neither were they. Mr. Donovan's face went hard, hand gripping his desk so tight his knuckles turned white. "That's why he won't sit down," he said. Without hesitating, he called the police. Detective Ruiz and Officer Harris arrived in under half an hour, reviewed the footage, faces grave. "We'll take it from here," Ruiz said. The next day, Mr. Glay was called into the office, told he was being reassigned, no questions asked. He packed his things, walked out, had no idea the detectives were waiting at the district office. Miss Alvarez watched from the window, arms crossed, jaw clenched. For the first time in weeks, it felt like the nightmare might actually end. That afternoon, she sat with Lucas at recess, told him quietly, "You're safe now. Mr. Glay isn't coming back." Lucas looked up at her, eyes wide, searching her face for truth. "Really?" he asked. "Really," she promised on the car ride home. Lucas sat silent, staring out the window, fingers picking at a thread on his shirt. No superhero talk, no jokes, just silence. I'd been called into school that afternoon, told the whole story, what they'd seen, what it meant. I held Lucas so tight I thought I might break him, tears running down my face, promising him it was over, he was safe. For the first time, he let himself cry, really cry, all that fear pouring out, and I swear, I'd never hated anyone the way I hated that man for stealing my boy's joy. The next morning, I marched Lucas into school, his hand gripping mine like a lifeline. Mr. Donovan was waiting in his office. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "Miss Reed, I'm so sorry. We should have noticed sooner. We're making changes, more cameras, stricter rules, staff training. This will never happen again." And for once, I believed him, not because it would fix what happened, but because maybe it would protect another kid. That night, tucking Lucas into bed, he asked, "Mommy, am I really safe now?" My throat tightened. I kissed his forehead, whispered, "Yes, Lucas. And if anyone ever tries to hurt you, you tell me right away. Promise." He nodded, finally letting his eyes close, breathing slow and deep. I stood in the doorway, watching him, thinking of all the parents who never get this moment back. Eventually, justice came. Mr. Glay pled guilty, got 12 years and permanent registration. One night, I showed Lucas the letter from the court, told him, "The bad man can't hurt anyone anymore." He just nodded, then went back to his toys, his first real smile in months. The shadow was still there, but so was hope. Day by day, we learned to trust again, to breathe again, to believe that sometimes, even in the darkest stories, you get to write your own ending. So, what would you have done if you were in my shoes? Do you think the school should have done more? Or is it enough that they try to fix things? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about how we protect our kids, how we handle trust and justice in our communities. And if this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from, because every voice matters, and sometimes sharing is the only way we heal.